everyone, welcome to Kristen's Reflections. Today I am going to go through my first ever sketchbook tour. I'm so excited, but I'm a little bit nervous. I still consider myself a beginner artist, even though I've been drawing basically my whole life, or at least since I could hold a pencil. But yes, I've loved drawing for a long time, but I've never properly studied art. I'm not classically trained. I'm very much self-taught. This sketchbook represents the first time I ever properly decide to focus on my artwork and study it and try and develop a style. So I think it's quite monumental in that sense. So I started drawing in the sketchbook in June 2022, so last year, and I stopped drawing in it around April 2023. I hope you enjoy seeing how my art develops over this time. I think it will be interesting to reflect on my process and what I could do differently next time. So I've worked in sketchbooks before just for fun, just throughout school and just, as a hobby. But basically, this type of sketchbook that you're seeing on screen is sort of the only sketchbook I knew of at the time and was the most affordable for me. So just the Montmartre sketchbook. I hope I pronounced that right. It's not too bad of a sketchbook for a beginner. As I said, I have used similar ones before, but as you will be able to see throughout this video, I ended up being a lot more experimental with the mediums and the approaches I took than what I thought I was going to be, and it just towards the end became a sketchbook that just wasn't really that functional for me anymore. So I ended up missing quite a lot of pages and the sketchbook's technically unfinished, but I think that's okay. Like, that's part of the learning process. Okay, and next we've got the title page. So I just decided to keep the title page quite simple because I knew that this sketchbook was going to be used for content on TikTok starting off with, and then into Instagram and YouTube, because I knew I wanted to create a bit of a sketchbook series. And if you're interested in looking at my short videos about that, that's just on my channel in a playlist that I'll have linked. And now we're on to the first drawing of this sketchbook, and I have to say it's a pretty strong start. So for this, I just grabbed a bunch of references of flowers and just went off that and used some interesting looking colors just to make this little flower piece, and I still really like it. I think it holds up quite well. I like that the flowers kind of look like they belong like under the sea or on like a strange planet. Like, it's very fantastical, which I really appreciate. So I have most of the references I used for the sketchbook on my Pinterest, so you can find that just Kristen's Reflections on Pinterest. So this piece is very literal. I actually did dream that my finger fell off. It was a pretty crazy dream. I think I was trying to put it back on. You might see throughout the sketchbook that I try and experiment with typography and fonts quite a bit. So I sort of, struggled to think of phrases and words, so you'll see me just using my own name quite a lot. So this next page brings up the point that a lot of these drawings are not in chronological order, and that's because this piece actually, I ended up sticking this drawing over the top. This page brings a lot of memories. So at the time I was studying animation, just as an elective, an introduction sort of history of animation class. One of the short films that we studied in this class was called Ryan. Ryan is about Ryan Larkin, who is an animator for the National Film Board of Canada. And in this short film, it's actually sort of like an animated documentary. Chris Landreth interviews Ryan and just sort of talk about how Ryan was affected by the creative industry. It's a really, really great film to watch if you're an artist. I think a lot of people would really resonate with it. But yeah, it has some heavy themes in it. But yeah, the character design is just phenomenal and I absolutely love it. This ended up being quite a cool TikTok where basically I just went around my neighborhood and took videos and photos of different plants and trees and flowers and just drew little drawings of them as studies. I think maybe if I didn't love drawing characters so much, I think I would be drawing a lot more plants and flowers and things like that. For this page, I just used like a random prompt generator and just sort of made up characters. I used some references, but it's nice to think that these characters are mostly original. And you can sort of see me starting to settle into a bit more of my own style. And on this page we've got another cover-up situation that I did much later on. You can probably tell how much different my art style is and how I approach drawing. But yeah, these are just some models that I found off Instagram. I think a big thing you could notice is that I was confident enough to draw full body characters this time. So it shows a bit of a difference there, and I guess more confidence in terms of drawing fabric and texture and all that sort of stuff. On the right hand side is actually one of my favorite drawings that I've done in this sketchbook, and basically according to the Myers-Briggs personality quiz, I'm an INFP, which stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, and I believe prospecting or perceiving. I always get confused with what the P actually means. And whether or not you think the personality test is pseudoscience, I think it's a lot of fun to do, and it's interesting to see how your personality might be categorized. So I'd be interested to see if there are any other people out there who have done it and what your personality type is. But it's really cool sometimes when you're watching movies and TV shows to look up your favorite characters and to see what personality types they have. So I drew some characters that have the INFP personality type. Got more studies. So the first page is a mix of people models I found on Pinterest plus other people's drawings, again trying to sort of synthesize them together with some sort of style. I really love the orange coloured pencil I used around it. I think that design's a lot of fun, and I think it's a fun way to unite sketches and to add a bit of a background. So next to it, I've got some realistic looking portraits, and I just remember having so much fun drawing these. It was nice to just copy photos from Pinterest and to create something that was realistic looking, especially after such a long time of drawing cartoony characters and stuff like that. And that's the thing, like, I love drawing cartoony characters, but I think every now and again I just need to draw something that's really realistic just to refresh it. And I made it so it would be like a head turn, because that was a trend on TikTok, was to see if you could get your characters to turn their head. So I gave it a go, and I think it turned out quite well, and I'm really proud of this one. This spread is so interesting to me. So it's quite exciting because this marks when I actually figured out what my style was finally, and that was with the button noses. And these button noses, like, not everyone likes them, I get it. It can be a bit distracting at times when I draw them a bit too big, but I really like them. I think they're so cute, and I like the fact that I'm able to sort of use something as simple as like a circle nose, but still be able to create diverse range of characters using other features like their eyes, for instance. Oh, I love these mermaids. So for this, I did use references initially for some bits here and there, but for the most part they're original creations. I think with them being mermaids and missing legs, it does make it easier as full body characters, but I really like the fact that I was able to integrate my own style with these characters. I developed them just as a fun drawing exercise, but they've become characters that I actually really like and want to draw again and again. I've come up with names for them, like the first one's Pearl, the second one's Star, and the third one's Coral. So not the most original names, but I thought they'd be cute. And I got so excited after I drew these mermaids. I made a little personality quiz on TikTok so people could find out what mermaid they were. Because I did that and I made that quiz, and I put a lot of thought into these characters' personalities, I was able to take it to the next level and make these Procreate drawings using these characters and using their personalities to put them in a whole new context and take my art to that next level where we're seeing my characters, original characters, against backgrounds and in their own stories, and I'd really like to continue expanding it. I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm so happy that I'm able to do that now, where I've gone from struggling to draw full-bodied characters to now actually having proper narratives and stories behind the characters I'm drawing. This guy ended up being the final piece in the sketchbook, and the rest of the book is just empty pages. I've learnt a lot from this sketchbook, and I've improved a lot, and yeah, I think I'm really happy with how it's gone. I've got some really good news to mark the end of this video. I actually have started a brand new sketchbook, and this one is going to be Sketchbook Series Season 2. And I won't show anything yet, so no spoilers, but you can follow it along. I've created a playlist for Sketchbook Series. I'll just be posting shorts of these drawings, and you'll be able to follow them along until I finish the sketchbook and I can do another tour. So thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you're interested in following along with my art journey, and I'll see you next time. Bye!